and the Fox, a Japanese folktale. A farmer and his wife had a son named Kuzma. He was a good boy, but lazy. He just wouldn't work. One day, his mother said, "That boy is useless. Maybe he'd be happier if he lived alone." His father agreed. He made Kuzma a cabin in the woods. He gave him an old horse, 5 chickens, and a scraggly rooster. There Kuzma lived, all by himself in the woods. A fox came by one day and smelled the chickens. When Kuzma went hunting, the fox sneaked into the cabin. She gobbled up a chicken and ran off. When Kuzma got back, he missed the chicken and wondered who had taken it. The next day he went hunting again. He met the fox. Smiling sweetly, she said, "Going hunting, Kuzma?" "Yes, I am," said Kuzma. "Have fun," grinned the fox. When he'd gone, she ran into the cabin. She gobbled up another chicken and fled. Kuzma came home and saw that he had lost another chicken. "Can Fox be the chicken thief?" he wondered. The next day he locked his doors and windows before he went hunting. He met the fox again. Smiling sweetly, she said, "Going hunting, Kuzma?" "Yes, I am," said Kuzma. "Have fun," grinned the fox. She ran into the cabin and tried to get in, but the doors and windows were locked. "I'll slip down the chimney," she thought, and down the chimney she went. Kuzma was hiding nearby and had seen everything. He knew the fox couldn't leap up out of the chimney. "Now I've got you," he cried through the keyhole. "Your game is up, you thief." "Please, good, kind Kuzma, don't kill me," cried the fox. "If you spare my life, I'll make your fortune. You'll never have to work again. All you have to do is pay me in advance for my help. Cook me one of your chickens in good fresh butter." Kuzma thought for a moment. Then he said, "Well, why not?" He fried a chicken and fed it to the fox. She gobbled it up. Then she said, "Beyond this forest lies the kingdom of King Thunderboom and Queen Lightning Zip. Their daughter is the world's best princess. She's beautiful, she's rich, and she's going to be your wife." "What? No princess would marry me," said Kuzma. "You'll see," said the fox. "I give you my word." The fox ran straight to King Thunderboom's palace. She went in and bowed low. "Greetings, wise King Thunderboom. Greetings, fair Queen Lightning Zip," said the fox.
"Greetings, little fox,"
said the king.
"What do you want?"
"Simply this," said the fox. "I have come to arrange a marriage. You have a fine girl, and I can get her a good husband."
"Why didn't he come himself? Is something wrong with him?"
asked the king, amazed at the boldness of Fox. "He can't leave home just now," said the fox. "He is much too busy. He rules all the wild animals and has to keep an eye on them."
"A ruler of animals is a strange kind of a son-in-law," said the king. "But let him send me 40 times 40 wolves. Then I'll consider him as a husband for my daughter."
Fox went to the timberland at the edge of the woods. She began to stagger and sing and hiccup, as if she had eaten too much. Presently, a wolf saw her and said,
"What a dinner you must have had!"
"Yes," said the fox. "I ate much too much at the king's animal banquet. Why weren't you there? You never saw so much fine food and so many animals eating it."
"I love parties,"
said the wolf hopefully.
"How about taking me there?"
"All right," said the fox. "But the king's cook won't cook just one supper. He cooks only for crowds. Tomorrow at noon, bring 40 times 40 wolves here to me. We'll go to the palace together. What a feast we'll have!" The next day, a great band of wolves assembled in the forest. Fox led them to the king, lined up in rows of 40. "Noble king," she said, "here are the wolves. Count them. Your future son-in-law sends them to you with his respects."
"Thank you," said the greedy king. "Put them away in my stockyard. I see my future son-in-law has his first-class fur animals. Why doesn't he send me as many bears?"
Thereupon Fox ran to Kuzma's cabin and said, "I'm hungry. In order to succeed, I must look well fed. Fry me another chicken in fresh butter, please." When Fox had gobbled Kuzma's chicken, she ran to the king's side of the woods. She sang and staggered and hiccuped as before, and before long a bear came up and said,
"You look fat and well-fed. Where have you been?"
"I've just left the king's animal banquet," said the fox, licking her chops. "What a feast! It's still going on."
"It is?"
said the bear hopefully.
"Can bears go too?"
"With me they can," said Fox. "But the king's cook cooks only for crowds." Meet me tomorrow with 40 times 40 more bears. I'll lead the way to a real feast." The next day the bears were waiting. Fox led them to the palace and lined them up outside in rows of 40. Then she went in and said, "King, the bears are outside, with your son-in-law's respects." The bears are put into the stockyard.
"Bears and wolves are very good," said the king. "Now, how about some nice mink? Let him send me 40 times 40 mink, and I'll announce the engagement right away."
Fox ran to Kuzma's cabin. "You'll have to feed me again," she said. "I can't look skinny if I'm to make your fortune." Kuzma fed her the last chicken and the scraggly rooster as well. Then Fox ran to the river on the king's side of the woods. She staggered and sang and hiccuped as before, and before long a mink came up and said, "You look as if you've had too much to eat." "Indeed I have," said the fox. "I'm so full of trout I can hardly walk." "Trout?" said the mink. "They're hard to get just now." "Not at the king's banquet," said the fox. "The wolves and bears and everybody are gobbling trout by the ton." "Why wasn't I invited?" asked the mink. "It's not too late," said the fox. "Come and celebrate the engagement of the king's daughter. Meet me tomorrow with 40 times 40 more mink. We'll go to the feast together." The next day the king was richer by 40 times 40 mink. When they were safely in the stockyard, the king said,
"Tell the young man to come tomorrow. The engagement is official. He's invited to dinner."
The next day Fox, looking busy and important, said to the king, "My master begs to be excused. He couldn't come today."
"Why not?"
asked the king. "He wants to give you half his gold. He's getting it ready, but he has nothing big enough to measure it with. He wants you to lend him a dozen bushel baskets, so the work will go faster."
"Baskets?"
gasped the king.
"Yes, I'll lend him the baskets."
He was tremendously impressed by anyone with gold enough to measure by the basket. Next day, Fox ran again to the palace. She said, "King, your son-in-law will arrive today. He's decided to bring all his gold. Then you may take whatever you want of it." The delighted king arranged a big reception. Fox ran to Kuzma's cabin. "This is it," she cried. "You're going to marry the daughter of King Thunderboom and Queen Lightning Zip. Hurry up and get ready."
"Are you sure you're not crazy?" said Kuzma. "How can I visit a king? I don't even own a good suit."
"Forget that," said the fox. "Saddle up your old nag and bring along a saw. Leave the rest to me." Kuzma obeyed. He trotted behind the fox until they came to the bridge over the river near the king's palace. "See the pillars that hold up the bridge?" Fox asked. "Go and saw them almost through." Kuzma sawed away. Soon the beams cracked and the bridge crashed into the river. "Now," said Fox, "undress. Send your horse home. Let the river wash away your clothes. Stay in the water till you're blue with cold. Then climb onto that rock out there in midstream and wait for me. It's the last work you'll ever have to do, I promise." Kuzma scratched his head, but he obeyed. Fox ran to the palace screaming, "Sire, good king, help! Horror! What a tragedy! All is lost! He's drowned!"
"What's the matter?"
cried the king. "You know the bridge that leads onto your kingdom? It's gone! It fell into bits under the weight of your son-in-law's gold. He fell into the water. Gold, horses, servants, himself, all are lost," panted the fox. The king was horrified and ashamed that his bridge had caused such trouble. He sent servants with piles of dry clothing to look for his son-in-law. The servants found Kuzma shivering on the rock. They got him ashore, rubbed him warm, and dressed him in royal garments. When the king saw Kuzma, tall, handsome, well-dressed, and still alive, he welcomed him warmly. He apologized for having failed to make a special bridge strong enough to carry gold, horses, and many servants. Graciously, Kuzma forgave him. Bells rang, cannon sounded a salute, everyone cheered, and Kuzma married the king's daughter. From then on, Kuzma lived gaily with his delightful wife in his father-in-law's delightful palace. Fox came to court to stay. Kuzma fed her chicken fried in fresh butter until the end of her days. The end.